Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD, and welcome to the Wright Brand 250 at North Wilkesboro Speedway, race 10 of 23 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2024. We're now at, the fourth short track race of the year? No, the third short track race of the year. And one of NASCAR's founding tracks. Hosted a race every year from 1949 to 1996, and this is the second year of its revival. And the first race on the new pavement. And that's for all series, considering that the Cars Tours races were rained out. Christian Eckes sits on the pole after qualifying was canceled, which means the only DNQ was for Tory Racing Enterprises and Eric Almirola. Unfortunate, it's the only race they've attempted so far. But it came down to two drivers having no owner points, and the other truck had the faster practice time. So, and they went in the final starting position. I have a couple of one-off teams attempting today. Well, not really one-off, but part-timers. If you have the first full grid since Daytona. At least I think it was since Daytona. I should also mention, I might be a tad distracted during this because at the same time as this, Indy 500 qualifying, day one qualifying for the Indy 500 is going on. I'm trying to track who's on pace to make it in, so I have a spreadsheet of drivers, and the way that it works is for those who don't, I'll switch my window. No, I can't. I won't switch my window. But you run 4 laps and your speed is your average. Top 12 go to the pole, run for the pole in rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow, and then also the next day. But the bottom, everyone below 30th place runs to avoid getting knocked out. It could be quite the stressful thing, and they have got about another 4 hours and 13 minutes before the gun fires at Indy and qualifying is closed. Kyle Larson made it halfway through his run before he had a mechanical failure on his dash, so they had to bring it in. None of his other McLaren teammates even have run yet. They forfeited their Calamila put a time up, but it was disallowed for a non-compliant offset wheel, and Pato O'Ward and Alexander Rossi withdrew their guaranteed starting spot due to the conditions of the track probably being too unfavorable. Because every driver draws for when they run, and the earlier you go, the better. Larson went 6th, which is why it really sucked that he had a failure. It's some of the more favorable conditions. No one is probably going to beat Penske, considering just how fast those 3 cars are. They're the only drivers to have eclipsed the 233 miles per hour average range. But I think Larson could definitely get in at least the top 12 for round 2. We had a wreck in qualifying as well. Rinus VeeKay wrecked, I think it was on his 2nd lap. So his team now has to fix that car. Nolan Siegel had a particularly terrible run. He's 4 miles per hour slower than the next fastest car. 4.5 closer to. Dixon didn't run a lap. Neither did Ryan Hunter-Ray. So 7 drivers are yet to place a time. Hi, Classic.
Hello.
When did you get in? How long have you been in here? Did I just not notice?
You did not. I've been here for about a good minute or 2, and I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna wait for you to stop talking so I could scare you.
Okay, but I noticed before you could scare me.
How dare you?
But did you see the spreadsheet I put at the?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. So right now we're under caution IMS because I think they're trying to set up the way. Once everyone goes once, they set up 2 lines. Line 2 is the safer line. So you go in there once person ahead of you goes, you go and you run your time, and that's just that. Line 1 everyone in line 1 will go before line 2, but you have to give up your time that you've already put down in order to run. So it's a high risk situation. And misuse of line 1 can really screw you, such as in 2010, when as a result of last minute lane 1 runs, a wrecked car made it into the Indy 500. Sebastian Saavedra. Like Paul Tracy screwed up by going to lane 1. What else? I think EJ Viso was there. Jay Howard. I know Jay Howard was definitely down there. Tony Kanaan almost did. Wait, Jack Sprague's the Grand Marshal.
In motorsports, please welcome 3-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, Jack Sprague. North Wilkesboro, are you ready? Drivers, start your engines.
Jack Sprague, the 1997, 1999, and 2001 Truck Series champion, winning a total of 28 races in the Truck Series, 24 of them with Hendrick Motorsports. At least I think that's the correct totals. Maybe it might have been 21 or 22 wins. Okay, now for the starting lineup. As I mentioned, Almirola was the only DNQ, but it looks like I'm hearing we might have some. They haven't started going yet, which is a little odd. I think unless it started to rain, which would really suck. Starting 36th, driving the number 26. Rackley Roofing Chevrolet for Rackley War. 18 years old from Lebanon, Tennessee, Dawson Sutton, which means that's where Nashville Super Speedway is. Starting 35th, driving the number 14, Quality Roof Seamers Chevrolet for Trey Hutchins Racing. 25 years old from Lexington, North Carolina, Trey Hutchins. Starting 34th, the last one was 35th, not 25th. Starting 34th, driving the number 04, CarQuest Chevrolet for Roper Racing. 26 years old from Marble Falls, Texas, Clayton Green. I'm just checking to make sure it's the right manufacturer. Starting 33rd, driving the number 75, Food Country USA Chevrolet for Henderson Motorsports. 25 years old from Cornelius, North Carolina, Stephen Parsons. Starting 32nd, driving the number 22, Matrix CAD Designs Ford for Ream Brothers Racing. 33 years old from Redlands, California, Josh Ryu. I also mentioned, I think of Jack Sprague. He was the very first Hendrick driver to have GMAC as a sponsor. Oh, where'd he go? Where'd Classic go? Starting 31st, driving the number 7, Pilot Flying J Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. 19 years old from Johnston, Iowa, Sammy Smith. Starting 30th, driving the number 66, Farm Pate Ford for Thor Sport Racing. 18 years old from Fredericksburg, Virginia, Connor Jones, youngest driver in the field and the lowest starting rookie. Starting 29th, driving the number 46 Window World Chevrolet for Faction 46. 23 years old from Trinity, North Carolina, Thad Moffitt, the second rookie in the field. Starting 28th, driving the number 5 Thompson Pipe Group Chevrolet for Toyota for Tricon Garage. 22 years old from Anaheim, California, Dean Thompson. Oh, yeah, there we go. We're going. Oh, I just received word from an F2 race earlier that Taylor Barnard has been disqualified. Which just sucks. He's driving for the worst team and he got points in the sprint. Starting 27th, driving the number 76, Latitude Aero Chevrolet for Freedom Racing Enterprises. 28 years old from Crevecoeur, Missouri, Spencer Boyd. Starting 26th, driving the number 1, Best Repair Company Toyota for Tricon Garage. 26 years old from Chesapeake, Virginia, Brendan Queen. Starting 25th, driving the number 88, Menards Jacklinks Ford for Thor Sport Racing. 47 years old from Tulare, California, Matt Crafton, the oldest driver in the field. Starting 24th, driving the number 71, HendrickCars.com Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. 21 years old from Washington, D.C., Raja Karuth. And starting 23rd, driving the number 38, Infinity Communications Group Ford for Front Row Motorsports. 21 years old from Bahama, North Carolina, Lane Riggs, the highest starting rookie. Starting 22nd, driving the number 02, Ranco Industries Chevrolet for Young's Motorsports. 27 years old from Douglasville, Georgia, Mason Massey. And starting 21st, driving the number 18, Liuna Chevrolet for McAnally Hillman Racing. 23 years old from San Bernardino, California, Tyler Ankrum. Starting 20th, driving the number 32 Best Value Carriers Chevrolet for Brett Holmes Racing. 27 years old from Munford, Alabama, Brett Holmes. Starting 19th, driving the number 41 Autoventive Precision Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. 27 years old from Driftwood, Texas, Bailey Curry. Starting 18th, driving the number 43 Champion Container Chevrolet for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. 20 years old from DeLand, Florida, Daniel Dye. And starting 17th, driving the number 91 Comedic Gasket. Those clouds do not look good. Comedic Gasket Clutch Chevrolet for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. 23 years old from Loomis, California, Jack Wood. Starting 16th, driving the number 33 Auto-Charged Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. 27 years old. Starting 16 years old, driving the number 33 Auto-Charged Ford for Ream Brothers Racing. 24 years old from Van Nuys, California, Wallace Allen. Those clouds really don't look good. Starting 15th, driving the number 42 JF Electric Utilitra Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. 27 years old from Lynchburg, Virginia, Wallace Allen. Matt Mills. Starting 14th, driving the number 13 Quanta Services Ford for Thor Sport Racing. 19 years old from Monroe, Georgia, Jake Garcia. And starting 13th, driving the number 56 Coble Enterprises Unit Storage Toyota for Hill Motorsports. 31 years old from Port Tobacco, Maryland, Timmy Hill. Starting 12th, driving the number 11 Safe Light Toyota for Tricon Garage. 21 years old from Marietta, Georgia, Corey Heim. Starting 11th, driving the number 52 Hallmark International Toyota for Hallmark Friesen Racing. 40 years old from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada, Stuart Friesen. Now for the top 10. Starting 10th, driving the number 25 Rackley Roofing Chevrolet for Rackley War. 32 years old from Louisville, North Carolina, Ty Dillon. Starting 9th, driving the number 9 Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet for CR7 Motorsports. 39 years old from Fairhope, Alabama, Grant Enfinger. Starting 8th, driving the number 15 Dead On Tools Toyota for Tricon Garage. 25 years old from Artesia, New Mexico, Tanner Gray. Starting 7th, driving the number 77 Bomba Buggy Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. 24 years old from Meridian, Mississippi, Chase Purdy. Starting 6th, driving the number 99 Campers Inn RV Ford for Thor Sport Racing. 27 years old from Louisville, Kentucky, Ben Rhodes. Starting 5th, driving the number 17 Sem Products Toyota for Tricon Garage. 19 years old from Artesia, New Mexico, Taylor Gray. Starting 3rd, driving the number 45 North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. 31 years old from Alva, Florida, Ross Chastain. He's starting 3rd. I completely missed the 4th place starter. The number 98 Road Ranger Ford for Thor Sport Racing. 29 years old from Seymour, Wisconsin, Ty Majeski. Starting outside pole, driving the number 2 Gainbridge NASCAR Industry Chevrolet for Rev Racing. 22 years old from Miami, Florida, Nick Sanchez. And on pole, driving the number 19 Instacoat Premium Product Chevrolet for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. No pole time due to rain. Raining out qualifying, 23 years old from Middletown, New York, Christian Eckes. That is your starting lineup with 21 Chevrolets, 8 Fords, and 7 Toyotas.
Top of 2024 when it comes to the Craftsman Truck Series. This is Tim's time to release drivers. Knowing this fresh pavement, it's going to be difficult to pass. Push back up and shut before we get done here today. Qualifying right now, Christian Eckes.
All right, pace cars off. It'll be 250 laps around the 5/8 mile oval. Here we go. We're green. And Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro. Eckes to the point. Already clear of Nick Sanchez. Looks a little loose. 3 wide already in the backstretch.
Wasting no time.
Ross Chastain to the inside. Gonna try to take 2nd place, but here comes Majeski.
Aggressive in that low lane. We'll talk about the speed of that knock truck. He's going to stay 3 wide now.
Chastain clear for 2nd.
Ross Chastain and the 45.
But Sanchez cuts down to the inside to try and get him back. Not able to get there, though. Here comes Taylor Gray on the high side. He's up to 4th, trying to pass on the high side for 3rd. 3 wide, still farther back in the field as Taylor Gray moves to 3rd. Here comes Ty Dillon from 10th to 4th. Sanchez continuing to fall backwards. Also, I made a mistake. That's Tanner Gray, not Taylor Gray.
He said, "I'll see y'all later." He said, "You guys go ahead and run through me if you like." Teammates for position, Wright orange 99, Ben Rhodes. Tucked inside of his teammate, 98 Ty Majeski. That's for 7th on track. And right behind them, starting 12th today, Corey Heim trying to work his way to the top.
Heim already up to 9th place, trying to get around a Thor Sport 2 of Majeski and Rhodes. Sanchez back to 6th place. Sammy Smith start violation. He's one of the 2 bushwhackers. Heim around both Rhodes and Sanchez. He's also clear of Majeski, so he's up to the 6th position. Ooh, he got loose on the apron, like bobbling on the apron. He gave up quite a few positions. He's outside the top 25. No new laps have been made yet at Indy. The battle for 7th still waging on between Sanchez and Rhodes. Sanchez high, Rhodes low.
Speedway Motorsports, everybody that's brought this place back together and did this paving job. Just a great weekend of racing. 11 laps in, and they're still wrestling for position just outside the top 5. Your leader is Christian Eckes. Chastain is 2nd, and look at the drivers running 3rd and 4th right now. Tanner Gray off to such a good start in 2024. The driver behind him, one that really needs a shot in the arm.
Tanner Gray.
Then the slow go early in the campaign to that 25, top 20, top
Oh, to Ty Dillon also needs a lot of work. All right, Alexander Rossi going for his qualifying run, the first one of the day.
Christian Eckes in a familiar place, out from the field. He's led every lap this year. He's led every race today.
He has not led every race. What is he? He's led every lap this year, led every race today. I believe you got your sentences mixed up there, Adam.
The gear ratios alone are enough reason to do that. Being able to put those in closer to the time that you're running, you want to have those absolutely maximized. This way, you're not having the car just sitting out in the heat, baking in the sun. As we've talked a lot this week, there are parts of the car for qualifying that you want to keep super cold. There are parts of the car that you want heated up.
Look at this. Rossi's been the catalyst for some action. Out comes teammate Pato O'Ward, thumbs up, ready to go. And so too is Alexander Rossi. Here we go. Green is out. First lap begins.
A slow warm-up lap.
Laps at Indy take about 40 seconds in qualifying for the Indy 500 compared to the plus 50 second laps for NASCAR.
Alex has been fast this week. He has been threatening the Team Penske's. 237, 238, 239 flashes there. Almost got to 240 on his opening lap. down into turn 3.
Given the temperatures he's dealing with compared to some of the others, Diff, that's not a bad top speed at all, but what is it doing in the corners?
All right, what's Rossi's first lap time?
Let's see what this first lap is.
If it's in the 233s, it's going to be good.
2:33.493.
Start Alexander Rossi.
That's in the conversation for sure. Rossi going to be thinking.
Trey Hutchins, Spencer Boyd, and Thad Moffitt have gone a lap down.
To do on the tools.
32 trucks remain on the lead lap. Sammy Smith in last place after his drive-through penalty.
Just kissing 239 miles an hour once again. Wife Kelly Rossi down there watching on anxiously.
The best non-Penske is Kyle Kirkwood of Andretti Global.
Lap 2. What's the fall off or the gain?
Halfway for Rossi.
2:32.854.
Alex.
Quite a you don't want. It is inevitable you will lose speed during your qualifying because your tires are just gonna because of tire degradation. You obviously you want to minimize it or even have a slight gain. Anything below a few tenths is a few tenths degradation per lap is average. That's not good tire deg to lose 0.6 of a mile per hour. Anyway, we're back.
Representing North Wilkesboro, it's the Wright Brand 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Powering the race from green flag to checkered and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. Speaking of driven, he's driving the wheels off that 11 truck.
Corey Himes coming through. Lap 3 for Rossi. Josh Reaume a lap down. Clayton Green a lap down. 30 cars on the lead lap. So Rossi actually finished his complete run with 2:32.962 miles per hour.
Well, Adam, we know that when it comes to short track racing, time with jet ski is always a factor to win. Well, yesterday in practice, they just couldn't get that truck the way they wanted. He told me they were both sides of it, too loose, too tight. They knew today they were going to have to work on it to get it right in this race. Started fourth, dropped back to ninth. Now he's moving his way back up through the field. The team told him to hit his marks, be patient.
Apparently, there were reports of some raindrops. We're now 10% of the way through the race. Oh, Ward. No, that's not a Ward. 2-second gap back to Ross. Timmy Hill a lap down. 29 trucks on the lead lap. Ryan Hunter-Ray now on track. He's known as Captain America. Battles going on all over the place. The battle for second between Chastain Tinegray and Corey Heim. And the battle for 11th between Grant Enfinger and Daniel Dye.
Last year, it was all you could do to keep your truck straight. You couldn't really get very aggressive because of the lack of grip. Now they've got all this grip and multiple grooves, and it's turning into quite a show. There's that camera where Daniel Dye before the race. He's making a nice move here. But Daniel, clear. Back out there, clear. That's what a driver wants to hear, isn't it? Clear.
Top 10, 2 of his last 3 starts.
And running great last week before the tire issue.
Absolutely.
You talked about Grant. You could see out Daniel's back window, that yellow truck. He's beginning to fade a little bit. You felt really good about his pace yesterday. Doesn't look like that's translated to today. That's a gaggle for 12.
See the 77 of Chase Purdy, the Bama Buggies truck on the inside. Tyler Hank from the orange and blue truck, the 18 right behind now, getting underneath the 9 of Brandon Finger.
Here comes Lane Riggs. We know how good he is on the short tracks. This is his bread and butter. He's got a nice truck here today.
Saw his dad Scott in the garage yesterday. Not too far from his hometown. Got to be fun for him to get to race here at North Wilkesboro.
Going to make the move underneath that 9 of Brandon Finger.
3 wide there, Enfinger and Riggs. The difference though is that, wait, Lane Riggs has, no, Enfinger's falling backwards. Riggs started, I think, 23rd, so he's up 9 spots. Ooh, getting up into Bailey Curry there. Stephen Parsons a lap down. 28 cars on the lead lap. Not a lot of tire fall off for the trucks. I think it's a new pavement though, so to be expected.
Continues his climb. Could be a 2 for 1 here. 45. Chastain is second. 15. Tanner Gray. Look out, fellas.
Corey Heim by Tanner Gray. Not able to get right Ross yet. But here he comes now to the inside of the 45. No, the 45 gets much better exit off of turn 2 and keeps second place. Ryan Hunter-Reay finishing his qualifying laps. A 2:31.695. Chastain closing in on Eckes. The gap's now about to 1.3 seconds, even with the 45 battling the 11. Battle for third still going on. Tanner Gray trying to take back the spot from Corey Heim, but Corey Heim defending well. We're 6 of the way through.
I say that because there is a threat of rain here at North Wilkesboro. No threat out front. It's been the Christian Eckes show so far.
All right. Larson's back in his car.
Well, with your home auto vote and RV all bundled with Progressive, you've got peace of mind to really longer.
Power, but in absolute terms, it's fractions of a second over a 4-lap run. Yeah, it's so crazy what we're playing with here. Hunter-Reay there, say hi to the family. Wife Becky, children.
By now, because of the last run by Hunter, well, actually the run by Rossi, you need to get at least 232 miles per hour average to get into the top 12.
Terrific. All right, so we've seen Alexander Rossi. Now here comes Mr. Fast Hands. He had a shot at winning a couple of
Looks like Ward's the next one to go.
the race last year until crashing out spectacularly when he collided with Marcus Ericsson. This is Pato O'Ward. And I got a feeling we're going to be talking about him again. This is last year. Inside turn 3.
We're watching the incident from last year, the end of the 500, where Ward spun out on the second to last on the third to last restart.
Ready to go.
Well, we've hit 50 laps complete at Wilkesboro. So that's a fifth of the race already done. Out for a second, still going on.
Hair-raising and just exhilarating moments of the month, just because of how freaking fast you're going, and because of how quick things can get out of hand.
Remember those two things, how quick you're going and how quickly the wind is perfect. The whole gear in sixth gear, just follow the light. Okay, just keep me posted. I will just follow the light.
It's always nice to get those little reminders, you know, and he says follow the lights. Basically what they will have likely done is set the lights up, so I'm shifting what that's simple. You know, when the blue lights all come on, you know that's when you're supposed to.
3 wide moment. Almost spun out Brett Holmes there. For Ben Holmes, or the Ben Rose, and Ty Majeski forming the rest of the 3 wide there. Green flag for Pato. Meanwhile, back at Wilkesboro. Oh, I didn't even realize Rhodes had, when he got into Brett Holmes, he lost part of his right front fender. Oh, Ward, I think, saying he had a plenum failure or something. That's part of the turbocharger. He lost a lot of time on the speed on the backstretch. But we gotta keep going. 13 to go at Wilkesboro for stage 1. And Chastain and Heimer within a second now of Eckes, who's dominated thus far. Dawson Sutton a lap down. Mason Massey a lap down. Caution for moisture, I think. Craftsman avoids going a lap down, and Mason Massey will get the free pass. Man, Ward, his lap times have not recovered. But we're under rain or now wet conditions. I think, because I can't find it on Twitter.
I think his booster so far is bringing Queen. He's up 11 spots, so made it to the top 15 so far.
Good time for a reset, right? Yeah. You go 26 to 15. You set it plus 11. Now you get a caution, a reset, and gather up and go again. And far more educated about what it's doing now than it was when this thing went green earlier.
Yeah, caution for rain. Finally, I got it. So, really bad lap for Award. It's a really bad time for Award. Let me check it. Because I'm trying to pay attention to both NASCAR and IndyCar. Award with a 29.84.
Pit road is open, and we have some takers. No big surprise here.
When it happened to Larson, he instinctively, I think, lifted off because it sounded like something broke with Pato. He kind of kept his foot in it. The engine's still running. And he's been there before. He knows what that is.
Larson now going for his second attempt. Meanwhile, pit stop's going off at Wilkesboro. All right, Larson starting his 4. Good first lap for Larson to 232.951.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay. If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different.
241 was hit on that lap for Larson.
Stay on it. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. This has been an accelerated learning program for Kyle Larson. He's now at the halfway mark. Tony Kanaan, Indy 500
Lap
winner
2.
himself, looking on. 232.7, so good, stable.
Yeah, 232.796. That's a real. He lost less than 2/10. Pretty good tire drag right there.
If he can have a nice stable run like that, you're flirting with the top 5, Diff. That's a
Good job.
solid run at 240 again into turn 3. As fast as we've seen anyone to have to commit to that corner, flat on the throttle. You see the downshift coming off of 4.
White flag.
Larson, lap 3. 232.395. Worst.
This is a really good run.
It's a worst fall off.
I'm thinking about our old teammate, our dear friend, the late Robin Miller, who just so badly wanted to see this happen. Robin, it's happening. It's real. Kyle Larson has come from the dirt track. He's come from the NASCAR Cup Series track. He's at your track. He's at the Speedway. As Jeff Gordon watches on, he's about to complete his first ever full qualifying run for the Indy 500. The Cup Series champ comes to the line. Kyle Larson
232.114. P6.
How about that? 232.5 for Kyle Larson.
Good job, Kyle. Very nice. Nice job, Mike, Phil, everyone. Very nice job.
A 232.563 for Kyle Larson.
Jeff Gordon even got his cell phone out and recorded Larson coming across the finish line. That's what Indy means to racers, Diff. That's what's so cool about this place. Larson, I mean, he's going to get out in his interview and be like, yeah, it was fine.
It'll be exactly the same. And look at Tony Kanaan. Kanaan is blown away. He can't believe it. There is one of the legends of the sport, and he is blown away. Jim Campbell from General Motors and Chevrolet.
We're back on track. Looks like we're going to go green again.
Worldwide of high performance and motor racing.
All right, we're back. Yeah, looks like we're about to go green. But Larson's now P6 in qualifying.
It's going to be an all-Thor sport front row. Here's the radio of the 98.
Definitely going to make the 500. Might go to, and hopefully we'll go to round 2. All right, here we go. We're going green again with 4 to go at North Wilkesboro. Good start for Majeski. He's in front of Ben Rhodes, who's in second. Side by side, it's Caruth and Taylor Gray for P3, as one car's starting to fall back to the field. I think that's Connor Jones. 66 getting a little antsy there. 25 getting a good push to the 17. Here comes Corey Hine trying to get to the top 5 by Ty Dillon.
He's leading that group. It came down and made pit stops. See him there in the 11 inside of Ty Dillon.
Yeah, no surprise that Craftsman Garage team performed up pit road.
Last lap at Wilkesboro for stage 1. Taylor Gray holding on to the 4th spot. It's going to be hard to call off his teammate, but off of turn number 4, Ty Majeski, the short track ace, will win stage 1. Rhodes 2nd, Caruth 3rd, Heim 4th by like 48 1/1000ths of a second. Heim 5th, Ty Dillon 6th, Eckes 7th, Tanner Gray in 8th, Jack Wood in 9th, and Tyler Ankrum takes 10th.
Complete the top 5.
Wait, Kyle Kirkwood is back out for a second run. Abort. You should abort this next lap. I mean, he's going. His average. Kirkwood's average was a 232.764, and now he's at a He was running 232.5. Like your first lap is going to be your fastest one usually. So I don't see he's going to improve his time.
The teams and drivers are experiencing in the top 12 and the Firestone Fast 6 tomorrow, then this is all useful information. It's almost like an extra test session for them. 232.
Nolan Siegel, as a result of the cars going again, he is now below the threshold, the top 30, so he's in the bump day position.
Provisional fast 12 with the 5th best time. Behind Power, McLaughlin, Newgarden, and Rossi. Lap 3. Gonna tell us a little bit more of the story for Kyle.
White flag.
In the Auto Nation, Honda 232.0. So from lap 1 to lap 3, half a mile an hour drop.
Yeah, great consistency. That's what the
Under commercial because of
cars has been so far today. There's a
Wilkesboro's caution.
Yellow, yellow. Yellow, yellow.
Was it waved off?
Aborted.
Why that would be waved off?
Oh, yellow on track.
Wildlife.
What's the yellow for?
Even Kyle's asking.
Yes,
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. So the race director has the right to abort a run for a driver if it does not. If race control doesn't believe they're going any faster.
And they're not.
That is not normally something you see. It's not something you normally see until later in the day. I mean, there are cars lined up, but there's maybe 2 or 3. We have 3.5 hours to go. That's a very unusual time
I mean,
to
They waved us
exercise.
off because we weren't faster than our previous run.
Yeah, it's an unusual exercising of that power from the race director.
I don't really
I'm
think
kinda
so.
surprised. That's a useful run for this team to get for tomorrow.
It's not an absolute, right? I mean, but to your point, there was nobody threatening like we need the time to run right now, and the whole reason, even if you're not quicker to finish the run, is to know what the dag looks like on lap 4, log that information. So that's unusual. I thought for sure we'd see a Canadian goose or a snake or a fan streaking down the back straightaway. So I was as surprised as Kyle Kirkwood sounded in the cockpit.
Yeah, and I think the surprise comes from everybody because it's just so atypical at this time of day. If this was 5:15,
3.5 hours remain in Indy qualifying. I'll probably be covering the heats, so I might be slightly distracted then because of the fact that we also got to get through that qualifying. Will be wrapping up during Heat 1.
So that 5th place time stays there for Kyle Kirkwood at the moment. Here's Dave.
With the other Kyle Larson, 232.563. Is that a nice sounding number for you after the day you've been through?
Yeah, I'll definitely take that. So hopefully it's enough to make the Fast 12 for tomorrow. That'd be really cool. But yeah, happy with the balancer of the car, and you're proud of the team. You're for not all of us not freaking out after you're not getting to run that or complete that first run. So just great to be in the show, and a huge thank you to Aaron McLaren, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports.
All right, pit stop's going off. Rhodes has still got that damage on his fender. They tried to kind of fix it by pulling it out.
So far too. So staying in tune with things that are going on North Wilkesboro as well. So it's been fun watching from a distance. But
Jimmy Smith got a free pass, so that's one of his laps back.
How did you walk yourself through? Okay, learn something. Now I got to get out and do it again and do it the right way.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the nerves were a lot less.
Oh, I guess now he's back on the lead lap. Okay, then.
Even with not completing that first run, I just felt like less motivation. It was just good to get a run in. I don't ever get to qualify like that. Where you get multiple shots at it. So.
Grosjean out on track. Grosjean's lap, he is currently 20th with a 2:31.514.
Felt much more comfortable there that last time.
Fastest he's ever gone in a race car. Nice day so far for Kyle Kevin.
It's been fun watching a couple of legends. Watch Kyle Larson, Tony Kanaan, Indy 500 winner, 5-time Brickyard winner Jeff Gordon. TK, how are you doing as a coach? What was this like for you?
He doesn't need a coach. I just don't have the heart. I was telling Jeff, I said, he's been doing this a little longer than I am, and I don't want to come back tomorrow. I was so nervous, but I mean, call me a coach is an understatement. Kyle is making me look really good. I can't thank Jeff, Mr. Hendricks, and the whole team for having the opportunity. I learned a lot with him today, how calm this kid was, and in 21 years, I was never like that, so pretty cool.
How'd you feel? You kind of living through Kyle, getting a chance to run in Indianapolis, Jeff?
Oh, 100%. I mean, what kid as a race car driver doesn't want to race at Indianapolis? And living here in Indiana is definitely, high on my bucket list. And so I'm definitely living vicariously through him, although we're not intentionally trying to create the drama. So I'm with TK on the heart rate. We can finally breathe, but now it'll ramp up again tomorrow. Just so proud of everybody at Aaron McLaren and everybody that's been a part of this, including TK. It's been a total team.
Grosjean starting his last lap.
To rebound like they just did under extreme pressure to make this race and now be in the top 12, at least currently. We'll see how it ends up, and that's it's exciting. It's amazing to be here. The atmosphere is incredible. It's not even race day yet.
Yeah, we're just getting started. TK, do you think from the team aspect that they would want him to qualify again? How important is it to stay in the top 12 if that's in jeopardy? Or is it just, no, get him safely and let's think about racing?
Kyle's a racer, real racers. I think we're going to talk about it, but we have the best in the seat. So to do it again, I did it 3 times last year, and he's a lot better than I am. So I think we're going to evaluate the situation, but the goal is to put him in the top 12.
What was Grosjean's time?
So I want to get the call from Jeff or Mr. Hendricks saying, what are you guys doing that you're not putting him there? But hopefully we'll be safe and we'll play tomorrow.
Tony Kanaan, the Aaron McLaren sporting director, and another legend in the sport here today at the Brickyard, Jeff Gordon.
And look at that. There's a lifetime photo. No matter how far, how big Kyle Larson gets in his racing life, this one will be one.
What the heck? Spencer Boyd took the jack with him onto the track.
It's terrific.
That's never good.
Pit lane and chucked with Kyle and with Jeff Gordon, and for Kyle, I was really amazed and frankly impressed. He wanted to talk about how he hasn't had enough race running yet. He wants more time in traffic. He wants more time to learn the controls. Here's a young guy with his first day at Indianapolis for qualifying, but his focus is frankly already on next weekend and obsessing over closing the gap, the learning gap, the knowledge base that he doesn't have about how to run in traffic. And that's been, I think, kind of the surprise of this week is
Grosjean aborts his time.
The teammates run different cycles in terms of the planning for practice.
So no, Grosjean's run was aborted.
We'll have practice on Monday. We'll have carb day, but those are limited sessions. So I was really impressed that Kyle Larson, as much as this is a big day in his career, he's really focused forward.
Martinsville did Sandy Smith.
7 trucks been to victory lane a couple times this year with Kyle Busch.
Let's go over the strategy again, because there's a whole lot going on here. Well, I think there's several different.
Dixon finally making his first run of the day. The Iceman, as he's also known.
Pit window. You see Tom Majeski, we're assuming he's going to do one stop. He has not stopped yet. Christian Eckes has already stopped. Cannot make it to the end of the race. So we assume he's going to make 2 stops. And there's going to be some stuff in between. Obviously, if you see any more precipitation, that could change things as well. But I think a lot of people will fit into these 2 categories on the Winter World pit window of 1 or 2 stops.
I agree. And the second stop will come if the caution flies at a timely point of the race for those guys to get to pit road before the stage and get that service done.
Clouds don't look great behind the spotters.
We got to hit lap 125 for this to be official.
I did hear there was some lightning in the area, so lost a few of our camera folks. They had to leave their positions to come down and get out of the elements.
You got to be within 8 miles.
They're bringing the field down.
Okay, lightning strike, lightning check at Wilkesboro. Lightning hold. So a half hour.
Thunderstorms, and we're hopeful based on the radar that it'll stay to our north, but you can't flirt with lightning, and so with that, we are going to red flag the race.
All right.
Where Scott Dixon's experience and his seat of the pants feel as his wife Emma looks on with some strain and concern over whether or not Scott might be able to find the magic. But Jeff, I think he might be getting a little bit better over this run with those adjustments behind the wheel. Let's see, maybe he can go up to 232 and a half. Let's see, 232.2. So close.
Dixon's got a fast car right now.
Sato continues to sit on that top 12 bubble. You got to break into there if you want a chance to start up front in the Indy 500. Dixon has comfortable speed. No worries about making this show, but that's not what he's used to. 5 times on the pole here, 237 again on the straightaway. He grabs the downshift at just the perfect time. He is the first to run on qualifying day number 1 with the track temperature at 120 degrees. 3 down, 1 to go. 231.6 on that third lap.
Lost 0.6 or so in the last.
Pull that bar adjustment back, so he's looking for a little more grip out of the front end. Doing everything he can with the settings here, trying to find hundreds if he can. That's how tight that part of the field is going to be, right at the 232 flat mark. Is the home stretch for Dixon. But this is better, frankly. I think this is an improvement over where they
Dixon finishes round at 231.851 miles per hour.
1.8 miles an hour. Let's hear Scott's thoughts on what's qualifying for the greatest spectacle in racing.
This puts him at.
Put in perspective, you're coming to the first corner.
Dixon is at 17th overall.
Time you've done, you've got to keep your foot flat, and you hope you come out on the other side. You know, that's literally how it is. So the intensity and the adrenaline, just the energy that you build up for it is, it's wild.
When you hear a guy like that say, it's wild, for everything he has done, you know how wild it
Only 2 drivers have yet to make a second time. Also, Pato O'Ward now in the danger zone.
Well, and you look at the time, 231.5, and you know he'd like to be much better than that. Roman, what was your experience?
So O'Ward had a mechanical malfunction on his second lap or third lap, which affected the rest, or the first lap, which affected the rest of the run. Siegel was just slow, so that leaves Ilott, who had a non-compliant offset wheel, and VK, who wrecked.
And race car is important for Roman Grosjean. It's been 2 crashes in 2 races at Indianapolis.
Up next is Ray Hall, or is it Ilott? I'd rather focus on.
This race for the first time in his career, so I think it's a good thing to
That's
take
Ilott
here qualifying
back on
wise,
track.
Really hone in on getting the balance right all race day. Let's just go back and read the wording of the official decision from race control about Callum Ilott and why the qualifying time for the number 6 NTT data Arrow McLaren Chevy.
All right, I'll do it on my computer.
Does that get you off your game a little bit? Like when something like that happens, or you just shrug it off and say, oh, well, never mind, let's go?
Listen, I've had a few rental cars returned with non-compliant left rears, and it didn't bother me in the slightest. So for
the
Callum
top 12
Ilott,
right
I
now
think
are Will
if he
Power,
knows it's fixed
Scott
and
McLaughlin,
square, and he'll
Joseph
feel it on
Newgarden,
his warm-up
Alexander
lap,
Rossi,
if
Kyle
his
Kirkwood,
McLaren's all
Kyle
sorted out,
Larson,
and so far,
Felix Rosenqvist,
it's
Santino
okay.
Ferrucci,
This is where Callum
Alex
Ilott
Palou,
has been
Colton
relative
Herta,
to his teammates.
Marcus
He's been the
Armstrong,
fourth quickest
Takuma Sato.
of the 4 Aero McLaren, so 2:31.9. He's not going to be stoked about that, but if they're compliant and in the range, at least he'll be comfortably in the show.
And look, this is harsh language, but it just puts it into perspective. At the moment, if you're outside of position number 30, because remember, today here, we lock in positions 13 through 30. If you're outside of 30, like Ilott is, VK, Siegel, and O'Ward, technically at the moment you don't exist till tomorrow. You know, you've got to come back again and try it all over again. And so that's what Callum Ilott's trying to do, get himself in that big landing
Looks like
pad
he might have let up a
in
bit
between
there.
13 and 30 and closer to 13, or even try and get in the, you know, the provisional fast 12 to give yourself a little bit more comfort. You don't have to keep doing this.
Hold fifth all the way around.
You're just looking for a nice solid run. Great coaching from the timing stand on optimal gear selection based on what they see for engine performance, minimum corner speed.
Maybe.
Callum Ilott reaches down. They're stiffer on the front roll bar, so he's probably feeling like the car's a little neutral through turn 4 on that last corner.
2:31.5, lap 3 for Callum Ilott. At the moment, it's tracking at an average of a 2:31.7. That's going to put him in a nice safe zone. It's going to put him in the top 20.
Three turns to go.
Had a nice run here last year, finishing 12th with Wilco's Hollinger.
Last lap for Ilott. What's his average time?
Callum Ilott will come across the line, finishing lap 4. And that
2:31.7.
solid. He's at 2:31.7. Where's that put him?
19th.
19th.
There you
overall.
go. Tucked in nicely. But that pushes Graham Rahal out. That pushes Graham Rahal into 30th. So
I almost certainly did not want to be in.
it's technically not bumping, but it sort of is, because it puts you into that no man's land.
So it looked a little bit better for the number 9 of Scott Dixon with the engine change, but let's hear from the man himself. He's down there with Dave Burns.
Yeah, Townsend, his team thrashes. He goes down, lays out 4 laps, 2:31.8. Scott, how would you assess it?
It wasn't great. You know, it's definitely not ideal to do it on a day like this. You know, I think it's we kind of made a decision that we were going to do it last night, and we never did. And after this morning, it just, the car just wouldn't pull. You know, so we're just looking for any kind of obvious thing, and changed, kind of the whole rear end of the car. It seemed to light up a little bit better, just even for its first go. You know, the engine's not tuned or anything like that. So hopefully we can regroup and have a bit of a crack later.
So they'll have some tuning that they can do on it, but was everything on that run smooth? I'm hoping.
It was okay.
They're showing Larson right now from Indy. His run.
Yeah, had an issue early on in his first attempt at qualifying, and he had some sort of a warning in the dash. There's some practice from yesterday. Did he hit 240 miles an hour yesterday? Over 240. Wow. 241 yesterday, and I thought I saw today that he hit 242 in that opening run that you were talking about, Phil. Yeah, unbelievable. And then they got the car repaired. He went back out, and right now he's up in the top 10. More than likely will make the top 12. That will run again tomorrow. Very comfortable when it comes to making the field.
Yep, but we're still under lightning hold.
Thank you to HRC and to Wayne and everybody for making a quick call. They see something. Unfortunately, the motor wasn't at full power for the entire run. It started early on, and then it began to misfire badly, but it had already pulled a lot of timing and stuff because it saw something internal, and it saved itself, frankly. But they boroscoped it. They see something wrong, and so we're going to be replacing it. And it kind of makes sense, I think, with the speed that we had yesterday, the ability to pull certain gears, and then today we can't. So it's good to at least know that we're going to be able to change something, and then we'll see where it puts us this afternoon.
timeline, they're about 15 minutes in, so we're maybe an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes away from being potentially ready.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, we've got obviously a lot of
Canapino
guys
currently
in here, but there's some
18th
5-hour
on the
guys, some
scoring
IV
chart.
guys. Everybody's jumped in, all hands on deck to get it fixed up. So everybody's doing a great job working as a team.
Canapino's time or speed
you know, we've
was
had
a
we've had a little practice with this
2:31.847.
this month, so we'll be able to get it done. I think we can just go run based on what Wayno is saying at HRC, that we can just get right in line and go. And obviously we don't, not that our time's in it anyway, but we don't necessarily have to pull our time to go do it, because I think it'll be all right. But you know, track's going to get hotter here anyway. The winds are pretty calm all day, but it's going to get slippery as we go on here.
Thanks, Graham.
Welcome
Dylan Welsh back to the booth. Dylan, fresh off pit lane, and Graham mentioned the heat. Track temp showing 119 right now, and with the sun out and a little break in the clouds, it should continue to creep up a little bit.
And it really is a nice day outside, and the sun has kind of been going in and out behind the clouds and helping to keep that track temp right around that 119-degree mark, as Augustine Canapino is back out 2 laps into his second run.
So right now his average speed is already less than when he started.
Average so far.
I believe he was the
Grosjean got waved off and
starter.
sits in 22nd with that 231.5 average right now. Canapino,
the 15-time winner and 4-time champion from
pretty well,
Turismo
231.5 on that lap too, so the average likely to be right in the same window as his teammate.
He's way down the front stretch, complete lap number 3. Yeah, Grosjean sits 22nd right now, 231.5.
231.343.
Lap 3 for Canapino. Not too bad, not too much of a fall off. 231.3. Average still at 231.6.
Might not be the outright performance you want as a team right now, but in terms of that consistency, as the yellow comes out, presumably for the race director deciding that he's not going any quicker. Boy, that was wasn't obviously slower.
Yeah.
231.6 is the existing average, and that's what he had just turned. So Kyle Novak, the race director, not allowing much in terms of optimism for final lap 4s. I mean, I guess you never know, but Kyle was thinking, okay, if a car's in line, you'd have to be improving to finish a 4-lap run.
Well, and it gives
only car in
and
line
is going to hopefully give everybody as many chances as they want as the afternoon goes on. Here's Marcus Ericsson getting ready to head back out, and he'll need to improve quite a bit here. Sits 29th right now to 230.6.
Ericsson wrecked his car on Fast Friday.
Of his first run, so he was 15th.
Thursday.
That would have been right around 12, 20, something like that.
So
Track temp was probably 105 at that time, so almost 15 degrees hotter.
As the same car,
but for Marcus Ericsson, who's just getting accustomed to this replacement chassis after a big crash in practice, hopefully they are tuned up a little bit and he can find some more speed, because he's definitely in that danger zone conversation to transfer into the race by making the top 30 today.
And you know this as well as anybody, Townsend. You can take the same setup from a car that you had.
All right, lap 1.
And try and put it on a backup car, and it doesn't always work.
Good.
So that's the challenge for the Ericsson group here as they try to get this backup car dialed in. And he starts his warm-up lap here.
Oh, this is his warm-up lap.
Ericsson working down the back straightaway right now. And
all right,
they made some big overnight changes. He talked about those downstairs after their first run, that they thought were going to bring them a little bit closer to where they wanted to be. And still some more to find here.
Second attempt.
Challenge of that is
his
it's the heat of the
averages
day.
were a 230.603.
We've seen cars go fast in the heat
Only
of the
5
afternoon.
drivers
The
so
Arrow McLaren
far
cars
were
both
under
laying down good laps.
231 mile per hour average. Ericsson's one of them. The fastest of the 4 of the 5.
Is
Lap
just
1.
starting here as Ericsson goes through turn 2. The balance looks pretty good. Watching the telemetry as the speed climbs down the back straightaway, we've seen 239, 240 out of guys like Joseph Newgarden and the Team Penske drivers. Ericsson looks to be just hunting around 236 as he enters turn 3.
This is the conclusion of lap number 1 on Ericsson's second attempt. A little bobble maybe that there out of turn 4. 220 on the warm-up.
Lap 1, 230.943.
Speed 230.943. So that was pretty close to where he was at in his first run. 230.6 average on the first lap, or the first run, I should say. So Ericsson going to have to pick it up here a little bit. He's in for now, but you don't want to be, that 230 window is kind of right on the edge.
So he'll be looking for really consistent speed, like
lap 2 for Ericsson.
Herta was able to pull off a few runs ago. Lap 2 for Marcus Ericsson, half a mile an hour
That's
drop,
gonna be
and now that
sketchy.
average falls down to exactly where he sat prior, 230.6. And if this doesn't step up, we're likely to see more race director intervention. And I'm peeking out of the 9th floor of the pagoda here, and it looks like another car does indeed sit in line waiting. So
that's all it'll take.
Ericsson will need to find something here on lap 3.
Here we go for lap 3.
Out of turn 4. White flag is waving. We'll see what the third lap speed looks like. He dropped a half a mile an hour both laps, and that one does the same, 229.9.
229.9.
Little wiggle there in 1, too. That didn't look easy or comfortable as Ericsson backs out.
Backs out.
Yeah, he's
done
there.
Is aborted.
That was slower already than his first attempt by about 0.2 of a mile an hour. So
well,
Ericsson.
I didn't see the yellow lights come on, and it's almost like he's coming in based on what happened in turn 1, because he went in full send, full commitment, and she was walking around.
Can't do it. Sounds like he said maybe can't do it there. Here's a look at that wiggle you mentioned, Townsend, here into turn number 1.
Nice high, late turn in, just like what you want. And right there, it just starts to...
It does look a little darty, you can see it.
Starts to dance around, and for a guy that's already packed one in and written off a chassis, pit lane is your friend.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's a good point, is this really is the backup car for the entire Andretti group. They don't have
Tom Blomqvist out. Blomqvist currently
backup cars or a backup car
for
each car. So you definitely don't want to wad that one up either, because then you're really in trouble. Tom Blomqvist out onto the track for his second attempt, currently 25th at a 231.4.
Little surprised to see Blomqvist run again. I thought his run so far was comfortably in the show. What I loved about the interview with Tom after his first Indy 500 qualifying is he looked like he was loving it more than I've seen him at any race this season. I mean, he comes from a road and street circuit background, many years in the top class of GTP and IMSA with 5 class wins, but he looked a little relieved but thrilled at the same time. It really seemed like he's crossed over to that threshold where he's at Indy and he's loving it.
Comes from a family of racers and certainly respects the history of the sport, and this event falls into that category. IMSA champion in 2022 and making his full season debut here with Meyer-Shank Racing after a couple starts last year in the NTT IndyCar Series. The best this year, 15th at St. Pete. First oval race. We should make note of that too. Not just his first 500, first oval.
Yeah, there's
with the Indy cars.
A lot to digest here, Dylan, but I think Meyer-Shank, I really like the approach though of probably studying the data, looking at the downforce that they gave Tom Blomqvist on his first run and kind of hyping their driver up and saying, listen, you're going to be fine. We're going to rerun because your teammate is P7 right now at a 232.5 average. We're going to take a step of downforce off, go out there, keep your foot down, stay in front of your tires with your controls, and let's see if we can bump you up.
All right, let's see.
Speed's there for sure. Elio Castroneves, the other team car for Meyer-Shank, 16th right now. So
how about this? Lap 1 for Tom Blomqvist, 232.0. That's a nice
a real shot at improving his time. Not going to be as
the
fast
leadoff
as
here as he
Rosenquist,
continues to circulate
but
around.
He could jump
nice
off a
first
couple
lap.
tenths if he's consistent.
And two teammates, as you said, with lots of speed at this racetrack.
Those are team owners, Jim Meyer and Michael
Jim Meyer, Mike Shank look on.
They would love to have two cars in the top 12 today, with Helio Castroneves down in 16th. 2:31.8 is Castroneves' 4-lap average. I think it's going to be tough as Blomqvist comes to the line. Lap 2, slightly slower at a 2:31.7.
2:31.8 average right now has him right around Helio Castroneves, that 16th, 17th window, which would be an improvement over the 25th that he had there on the first attempt. Smoothly into 3, a little wide there out of the third corner.
And with 118-degree track temperature, it's a little harder than it was earlier in the day for Blomqvist. Lap 4 here. This is where things start to get a little dicey. They get your attention because the tires are working harder as Blomqvist is forced to open up the line at the exit of turn 1. He gets through turn 2, and it's starting to skate on him.
Come on, hang on, Noah.
3 and 4 going to be so important here, just to try to keep it above 231.
He's not going to have his lap called off this time.
Watching the throttle, still dead flat through turns 3. Maybe just a little lift there. Hold it down here, kid. Turn 4, wide open. Good job. You've made it.
2:31.4.
Checker flag for Tom Blomqvist. His second qualifying run of the
Average
day.
speed is
Where's the fourth lap put in? 231.578. Average speed 231.578. So he improves a couple of spots from 25th to 22nd.
Yep.
That's a lot of stress and a lot of work for 3 spots.
But 3 spots up is better than going the other direction. So,
well, plus the confidence of just doing it twice, right? And getting that experience, because if he doesn't run again, that's it.
Right.
That's probably it for his qualifying weekend, and he won't run again until Monday.
So Blomqvist in a good spot for now. 22nd, all 3 Meyer Shank cars really in a comfortable spot, with Rosenqvist in the top 12, Castroneves in 16th. Marco Andretti is next up.
Marco for his second run, currently 15th.
His first run, just looking for some more speed out of the Global number 98.
500 qualifying.
Marco,
but I mean,
time by.
We got red flags.
Would have gone back to Gasoline Alley with his team and his engineer, Craig Hampson, looked at the data. Colton Herta, their teammate, Kyle Kirkwood, the sister program of Felix Rosenqvist, would have collected all they could, analyzed every little detail, psyched themselves up, and come back out here to rerun with no risk, because it's a lane 2 run. They own that 15th position for now, so little to lose as long as it stays on the black stuff.
And we know Marco wants to battle it out for another pole position, and he's right there as the green flag flies for Marco Andretti's second run of the day. Trying to improve on a 2:31.890. That was his average, good enough for 15th earlier. A little lift there in 2. Oh boy, he's out of shape. That was a big bobble through 2 that time.
Marco's time from the last round was a 231.
Narrow on entry as he backs out.
We're already in the 31.
All right.
Yeah, he knows it.
Marco aborts his lap.
Had a big bobble there through 2 on the first lap. That's out of turn 1, and here comes 2. Looked like he got just a little out of shape. Here it is again.
Yeah, a little nervous twitch.
Ever so almost imperceptible shakes of the car.
He didn't like it. You heard him say, I already had to lift, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, and he was saying, I'm already down into the 31, so no sense pushing it. That's
all right.
The veteran experience.
But as you said, lane 2, that was a lane 2 run, so he's still got his speed from earlier, which has him 15th.
No one else is lined up for now. So right now we're just sitting in silence. Just waiting for another car to show up. And then we can do another 4 laps. Later today, North Wilkesboro Cup heats. And at the same time, later, two events at the same time. Arca East race at Flat Rock and modified race at Riverhead. We just wait for something to happen. So it's one Ray Hall car. Who else? Ray Hall Award. So Ray Hall Milan McLaren. Siegel for Dale Coyne. VK for Ed Carpenter. See, we have a look at the garage for the 5. They're still working on the plenum failure. Plenums, I learned it as part of part of my script for my next IndyCar Iceberg video, which is nowhere near done. That it's part of the turbocharger, which is how they get that extra speed in their V6 engines, or get the speed from their V6 engines. Obviously, a fire in the engine is no bueno. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't think we've had any new runs. All right, when was the last lightning hold? The track is just... Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was an hour ago. 17 minutes ago was the last one. We're still not halfway. Looking at the weather forecast via the weather app on the iPhone. Let's see. Thunderstorms from 3 p.m. through 5 p.m. Not very... That's not fun. 6 more. Okay. I don't think we have anyone running right now, so... not much to do except, I don't know, go for a run. I mean, I don't have that luxury right now in case the race does end up restarting or if we get another qualifying run. Tomorrow morning is the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Max Verstappen got a record-tying 8th consecutive pole. Good news is the big storm that skirted the track appears to be staying north, but now another cell to the west of the track. Get back going in 15 to 20 minutes. Just waiting it out now. Playing a game on my Switch, an old game called Natsume Championship Wrestling. I'm terrible at it. Because it's just so hard. You gotta hit your buttons exactly timed perfectly to get a move done. I'm terrible at it. And then you gotta get lucky when you pin your opponent that he actually stays down for 3 seconds. Come on. And I keep getting fucking comboed. And what? It looks like they're almost done putting together VK's car. Okay, Seagull's rolling back out. That's something. Though I don't know what lane they're going in. So I guess they moved to a backup car for Siegel now? Whatever works.
The big crash. And if you missed this one, have another look.
Or maybe it's because of yesterday. No, it's because of yesterday's wreck.
First time at the Speedway, lost it in 2. Slapped the left side, and then still probably going 180 to 200 miles an hour, and that's enough lift sideways to turn the car up and over, and then sort of gives him a Ric Flair-like slam. Luckily, Nolan able to walk away, but the car was effectively totaled, and that's why you see a bit of a Frankenstein here with the red and white front wing and the 18 backup car, which is really Jack Harvey's primary car for the first race after Indy, which will be
Detroit. You can tell the nose is a different color. It's a Frankenstein.
That hit when Nolan came back down on the track actually chipped a piece of the racetrack. So they were out there kind of patching that part of the racetrack up together yesterday. Here's Pietro Fittipaldi's car also rolling through Gasoline Alley. He's 28th right now. So all these cars kind of on the bubble, with the exception of Siegel, are in the top 30 right now. So Fittipaldi may be able to go out here and find some more speed as they continue to kind of work on all the Ray Hall cars.
I wonder if Dale Coyne's asking race director Kyle Novak, hey, if nobody else is in line, can you just let us finish 4 laps, even if they're not great? Because my rookie needs to find the confidence again, as Dale keeps a watchful eye down pit lane.
You know, one of the cool things that I think for any Indy 500 driver, but especially the rookies, is the photo that they take right there after you make a qualifying attempt on the start-finish line. Get one by yourself, get some with the crew, but it's a tradition, like there are many here at the Speedway, that once you get qualified, you get one of these pictures.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know that I fully appreciated
Siegel
these shots
is
until
33rd
I was
point.
finished racing here at Indy.
Needs to hit top
and
30.
you can go to the museum there as you see Connor Daly, his stepdad Doug Bowles, track president at IMS. There's Dan Talris, the CEO of Gainbridge, Elio Castroneves. But you go to the museum, they've got such a great photo archive here. And whether you've raced here or been a fan here or been a team member as Kyle Larson and team, point to the sky for Ricky Hendrick. And you know, it's just fun to look back and see the faces. Remember, oh yeah, I forgot that guy was our gearbox mechanic in 2007 or you know, it's just it's such a nice moment in time that'll be with you forever. And it's a great reminder, just the sheer number of people that it takes to prepare, field, and ultimately compete together.
Another lightning strike,
for the biggest
5
prize in
minutes
racing.
ago.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's cool how over the years you see the size of the crews grow just as the cars became more advanced and there's more parts and pieces to work on and more expertise required. It is all hands on deck always.
Speaking of going back through the years, what was your first experience here at the Speedway?
My first Indy 500 was 2001 when Elio won his first one. So,
how old were you?
I would have been 7. I was here for an IROC race in the late 90s, which I think was actually my first race here, but my first 500 was the first one Elio won.
Was your voice just as deep?
I don't think so.
You could have been an Instagram sensation if they had it back then.
I could have been. Could have gone viral. So here's Nolan Siegel back onto the racetrack for his second run of the day.
Can I just ask you about the voice? Because I find this fascinating. Between you, Dave Calabro, Kevin Lee, the list goes on. There's something about the Midwestern Indiana vibe that delivers this rich, deep tone.
Well, we're no Tom Carnegie, but we'll keep working and try and get there.
Where does that come from? Must be something in the Wabash.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My dad has a deeper voice, so I guess I get it honest.
Long-time announcer.
I don't know about
Indianapolis
Motor
Dad coming out?
I don't think so. He's usually here for the Brickyard stuff, so he'll be out in July or August, July this year, and see all his NASCAR friends. I know he misses being out here during the month of May.
He certainly misses seeing him.
When you're ready, Fix. Do when you're ready.
All right, Palo Alto's own Nolan Siegel.
The 19-year-old, the youngest driver in the entry
Gonna grab
list.
the shoulder belts, snug them down, and focus on that right foot if it feels like it's there. That's the key, is this debate mentally and physically. You've had a massive crash. You know you're not that comfortable. You're in a backup car, but you know you have to keep, as we look at the throttle trace, you got to keep that thing hammered when it counts.
I'm 23. This
and
dude's
building up to it,
19
kind of
years
as
old
Kevin
trying to
talked
make the
about. So
500.
hopefully by the end of this 4-lap run, he will be able to hold it flat out as the green flag waves.
Green flag here, green flag. Let's do this.
All right, it's time.
Some encouraging
for
words
lap
there as Siegel
one
sails
of
off into turn number 1.
Siegel's
2:32 at the end of the front stretch.
Wide open through 1. That's encouraging. Solid through 2. So this is big progress now for Siegel. He's finding his groove again, but the speed not looking too fierce down the back straightaway. Just 234,
Turn 3's been his trouble
maybe
spot.
235 as he goes into turn 3.
Tiny blips on the throttle there.
Through 4, flat there as well.
The speed's looking.
Here's the little downshift out of the exit of the 4th corner.
A little better.
Warm-up lap was 2:14.
For Nolan Siegel.
And a first lap 2:28.5, so that's better than he was this morning by a couple of miles an hour.
But on the stair step
I
to
fully expect him
recovery,
to be the one bumped out
this
of the
would
field.
be
If he
step
doesn't,
one.
it'll be a miracle.
Get your driver flat for 4 laps, and maybe they can trim out. Maybe they're overstuck at this point.
He's been flat. He was flat through 1 and 2.
Yep.
Looked good through 3 there, and 4 looks the same. Out of 4, here's lap 2 for Nolan Siegel.
Lap 2.
2:28.5 the first lap. Not too much of a fall off on lap 2. 2:28.4
per hour.
Still would have to find some speed, but this is a step in the right direction.
It is an improvement. 2:30.2 is the 30th place time held by his teammate Catherine Legg.
So do they let him finish this run here?
Well,
It's better. It's better than his first one.
It's a lane 1 run too, and it's better. So
lap 3.
Nobody else in line, presumably.
What a lap time being.
Still empty down there.
Saw Dad Mark and Mom Annette down there watching 19-year-old Nolan Siegel, 2:28.2.
Average speed
7-0 on lap number 3.
417.
So he's at a 2:28.4 average. But the car looks nice and stable for him. Through 3 and out of 4.
All right, final time around turn number 4.
And he's got a full run in the books.
What's his
Won't be
average
enough to bump him into the top 30.
Checker flag 28.276 miles per hour.
Hit off the 3, please. Good job.
It's progress, and you can hear the
About a
enthusiasm
mile
from
and
the
a
team.
half
Okay,
faster
so
per
that's
hour
done. Now
than
what do you
his-
do? 240
his
left.
last attempt.
All right, go back, study it, look at your downforce, look at the data. And I could see 1 or 2 more runs coming out of this guy today, unless they feel like that's all they have and they need to focus on tomorrow.
At what point do you make that decision? Is it worth keep trying to trim out, or do you just
He's the 9th driver
you just
to
park it at
attempt
some point and say, okay, we're going to have to rethink things and come with a fresh approach tomorrow?
Lap 2 today.
Well, it really depends on what downforce level they were at on that run.
Now wait until the next guy. I try to play more Natsume Championship Wrestling.
body fit as a speedway car. So he's getting back on his horse. So we've got to make some changes to the car to get it balanced a little different. That was a better run there for him. So now we can work on trimming it a little bit.
So it looks like he was flat, and you've got the driver back. Is there more to go that you can do to allow him to go faster?
Yeah, there is for sure. Yeah, and we put more downforce in to get him back used to that, and now we can start over and trim again.
How are you feeling about the 51 car of Catherine Legg?
I hope we make it through today, but we may have both of them in there tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there.
All right, thank you, Dale.
So Townsend, we got to look at the rear wing angle on this 18, and you hear Dale say we can go a little bit more.
Not a lot. So that slot right there with the adjuster bolt, there's actually two of these slots. There's one here, and then there's one that's kind of hiding behind the bodywork. Those are the two, or you multiply that on the other side. So 4 anchor points for the rear wing uprights. And essentially, you're going to loosen that nut and slide the rear wing adjuster in that slot to adjust wing angle. So the more that this bolt goes that way, the more negative angle you're going to add or remove from the wing, less downforce you're going to have, and also the less drag. Important to remember that, you know, in the race time, I guess you're actually adjusting, I should say, not loosening the nut there. You're adjusting here with the rear wing adjuster off the back as that slides, bolt slides in the slot. So that's consistent. That's not too dissimilar from what we saw from Team Penske. That might be kind of the downforce level where everybody is at. Normally we see more variation, and what we've heard recurring today is a lot of people just said that's the downforce level. Right. Anything past that, you're going slower because of scrub.
Larson family down here checking out the Borg Warner Trophy. Wife Caitlin there, son Owen down there checking it out. They've been here all this week. Audrey and Cooper as well, Kyle's other 2 kids. So great to have the Larsons in town with us here at Indianapolis as they watch Dad go fast. Kim Kuhn and Jeff Burton are also here, and they've been exploring this property. Where are you guys at now?
Well, Dylan, we have found ourselves on top of the pagoda. We're on the back side, maybe some of the best views on site at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it really gives you a sense of the size of this place. We can see all...
Anyway, still waiting on other runs to go. Sorry, though. All right, got a car coming to lane 2.
We'll give you another kind of refresher on this. Lane 1's the priority lane, so
it's
anybody
Takuma
without
Sato.
a time, which basically right now is Rinus VK, would
Takuma
enter that
Sato
lane
is
with
currently
priority access.
12th.
And anybody else who has a time when you're in lane 1,
secure his,
that basically pulls yourself out of the Indianapolis 500. So that's the high risk, high reward lane. Lane 2, where we see Takuma Sato there, is
and Elio
not a
also
gimme
coming
lane,
along.
but you don't have anything
He's
to
trying to
lose
get in
unless
the
you,
top
I guess,
12.
unless you go out and crash. But your time's not withdrawn, and it's just as it says there, a chance to improve your position from where you're at currently. Saw Nolan Siegel make his second run of the day. Kevin's caught up with him back in the garage.
Yeah, we've walked through Gasoline Alley, where he's been very accommodating, signed a lot of autographs, all new experience for a teenager in Indianapolis. All right, rebuilding your confidence first, where is it at?
It's getting higher every run. I actually feel good in the car. You know, we're back to flat all the way around all 4 laps. We just need to find some speed. So the car is much more comfortable than it was this morning. We've again, gotten better every run, rubbed on it a little bit, and, you know, hopefully we'll be closer to where we need to be by the end of the day.
You've done ovals before, but nothing like this. What has this experience been like with a very limited practice time this week? How are you trying to get all this done in about half the time that most rookies would normally have?
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. We had a lot of rain, which cut some of the practice down, and then obviously yesterday I, you know, gave away some practice time. But lucky to be out here at all, and grateful that the guys were able to put the car back together. They did a great job, and again, you know, it's a different car. Things are a little bit different, and we've just got to get it back into a good window, and we'll see where we are by the end of the day. And if we do have to run tomorrow, we'll have more time to practice, more time to run, and it'll just get better.
It's still only 3:20. Is there a thought that there might be 2 more runs available today so you don't have to put it all on this next one?
That's the goal. That's definitely the goal. We're going to do as much running as we possibly can and learn as much as we can, and, you know, go as fast as we possibly can and see where it puts us.
Thank you, Nolan.
Such poise and maturity from a 19-year-old. You say kid, he doesn't act like a kid.
He looks like one.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but as we were just saying, he looks younger than he is. He acts and speaks and drives much older and more mature than he is age-wise. But yeah, I mean, this is it's been a tough ask for Nolan Siegel. It's been a tough task for him over the last 48 hours. But holding his head up high, being very professional about it, mature about it. And yeah, with all hope, that car's a little bit quicker this time out.
Yeah, and the truth is, welcome to the club, right? We've wrecked
all been
here.
there.
we've lost confidence here. We've been baffled here. We've had to re-find our feet, and
we've been shish kebabbed here.
Well, that's
some of us.
That's a very small club.
Yeah, fair.
One-ish. So, and for Sato, a 2-time winner, hasn't been easy either, Dylan. I mean, this guy had trouble and was slow to really get his program going the first couple of days, but he's responded well, and the car is showing pretty good speed, certainly on the Rahal Letterman Lanigan scorecard. They've been the fastest in the bunch.
This is a lane 2 run for Takuma. He's 12th currently.
His last time was a 232.14.
232.140 average on his first attempt this morning. They worked pretty much solely on qualifying runs for this car all week, with the rest of the Rahal cars trying to focus on race runs, and should be no surprise that Taku is the lone Rahal car currently in the fast 12. And far ahead of his teammates too. Lundgaard's the second best at 25th. 223.3 warm-up lap and a 233.275 on lap 1 for Takuma Sato.
This is one of the drivers, Dylan, that's got a bit of a target on his back because he does sit in that final transfer spot for the top 12 shootout tomorrow. Guys like Carpenter, Simpson, I mean, really anybody 13th to 18th, I could see having a case for wanting to go back out and try to bump their way in. It's the drivers that are kind of below that and ahead of 25th. You're probably just done for the day. Not much to gain. Maybe a few places here or there. And then, of course, anyone below that potentially going back out to try to boost your pace, make yourself safer into the race. Oh, big wiggle from Takuma Sato.
Lost half a second, half a mile
out
per
of
hour.
turn 1.
We know he is not afraid. He will keep his foot in the gas. He did there. Lost half a mile an hour on the bleed off from lap 1 to lap 2.
But we'll see what this one is on lap 3.
This will be the telltale.
Because I'll tell you, you can keep your foot buried in it, but when the car's going sideways like that, it's not going forwards very quickly.
For Sato.
Here's the white flag. Conclusion of lap 3.
2:31.921.
Almost another mile an hour dropped off there.
He should still improve his time.
Again, he is safe or in right now in 12th. This was a lane 2 run. Had a 2:32.1 average earlier.
Still tracking
he's
better.
Up. He's ahead.
And that's why we're not seeing the yellow flag and the run aborted. I expect this final lap to actually be a little bit quicker than lap 3 just because of that bobble out of 1 all the way to the wall in 3. Man,
using all the racetrack. And again, out of 4, took it wide. But here's the checkered flag. Takuma Sato.
All right.
Second
average
run of the day.
Checkered flag. 232.473.
Good enough for a 232.
This puts him to 9th.
Average, and that's an improvement. 3 spots up to 9th for Taku.
A nice improvement. And that pushes Armstrong now to the bubble. But let's take a look at that turn 1 moment. Comes up off. He's a little bit high, but not too much. It's got usually what happens there is you get a little bit of understeer that grips up late in the corner and just kicks the back of the car out a little bit. But I mean, we were seeing right side pod there, Dylan. That is a moment well and truly.
Yeah, when it darts back to the left like that, that's never good. And then here's a lap later out of 3.
This guy's always so much fun to watch.
He's exciting, isn't he?
I mean, it was a whisker between the tire and the wall there. Just doing such a good job.
You could see the dust flying up there out of turn number 4. Using up all the racetrack to go from 12th to 9th on that run, Dave.
Dylan, he radioed the team. I nearly hit the wall 3 times. They're like, yeah, we saw that. And then he told them about the car. Sketchy. He used the word twice. Sketchy. And, you know, so it takes someone like Takuma to be able to drive sketchy around here this time of day.
2.5 hours remain qualifying in Indy. Meanwhile, we still have no idea when this truck race will restart.
He still got some speed out of it, so good run regardless.
It's so funny. I mean, sometimes to go quick around the speedway, you need a car in that sort of window, but oftentimes you see the pole-sitting car looking the most sorted and settled, as we see Rinus VeeKay taking back to the racetrack after this incident this morning. An early draw led to an early accident for the young Dutchman. An exemplary qualifying record here at the speedway goes out the window with this big incident in turn 2. ECR having to go to work to get this car repaired in time to make it back out on track. Still an hour and a half left in the session.
No.
Time for him to do multiple runs, but hopefully he doesn't need it.
Rinus VeeKay, the last driver to have to make time.
This car.
And as Kevin said earlier, this may be maybe kind of a leak check just to make sure everything's put back together before they really go for it.
I think you might be right there. He had a warm-up lap of 2:21, which is quite quick for a warm-up lap. So he might not have had everything.
He's just
not the proper procedure here. Just like you say, it might be more of just a test run.
Green flag.
Kevin, what else do you know about the 21?
That's exactly it. They were kind of hoping the track would. Yeah, they were kind of hoping the track would open up for practice like it used to sometimes in the old days if no one was going to present anytime soon. And they said, if not, then we'll just run around slow to do a leak check. And as well, we'll get back in line.
And with nobody in line, once they get it cooled,
they'll go again.
They might be able to just go right back out. So obviously had a problem earlier and just want to make sure everything is buttoned up before they go back out again. And
hey, look, this is silly, but if everything looks okay, and I know normally an install check is an out and in, maybe once by, even though they're going slowly, they want to keep it cool. I'm not against doing 4 laps at this pace. They can't wave you off because you don't have a time, right? So they're not going to say you're going slower, and at least it gets it on the board. So if something does happen, you know, he's the only car that's not posted a time.
Yeah, very good point.
Hit this lap. Hit this lap.
But they're not going to do it.
No.
They're like, yeah, James, that's a terrible idea.
160 miles an hour on that first lap, but they'll bring VeeKay back to the pits and hopefully send him back out here at speed in just a little while.
It looks like they may have waved him off.
Yeah, so that's enough. And there's the yellow.
Fair play. Fair play.
Kevin's back in the garage.
Yeah, I've got the 2014 winner set for his 16th Indianapolis 500 in the Venture HR Sierra Pacific car, Ryan Hunter-Reay. You were one of those that skipped the first time out to try to dial some things in. Was it worth the wait? Did you find some things that made you a little better when you did go out there, and right now you sit 20th on the board?
Yeah, there basically wasn't really much of a downside, right? Because there was only 3 cars behind us, 3 or 4 cars behind us. So we stayed in the garage. We looked over some things, some data, watching people, seeing if we needed to change some gearing, judging by some of the other Chevy runners and our teammate, Connor. So there really wasn't much downside to it. So I like the call on that. Unfortunately, when we got out there, our peak speed on lap 1 wasn't really what we wanted. So we're going to try and find some more here, try and find a little bit more consistency in this Venture Chevy. So we feel a little bit behind the 8 ball just this week with weather and everything else. It's crazy. We think we have so much practice, and then it gets down to it, and already you're at the end of Fast Friday looking at qualifying.
All right, we may see back out there later today to try to go a little bit better, so we'll wait and see. Yes, he said, oh yeah, we'll be out there in a little bit.
Yeah, for the one-off teams like Dreyer and Reinbold, that's the weather this week's been extra costly.
It certainly has been. You know, just missing that extra track time, getting familiar with each other, getting the cars up to speed, and a guy like Ryan Hunter-Reay, so experienced. And you just look at how tight the times are in the charts where he's at right now, sitting in 20th. There's like 14, 15 drivers there with 231 averages. It's so tight. You're like swimming with sharks. This guy's used to, you know, scuba diving with dolphins, but right now he's swimming with the sharks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Last time was a 231.
And I like it because he's 20th. He's kind of in that no man's land, but they're not resting on it. They want to go back out and find a little more speed. I love that.
Pouring.
Same for Helio Castroneves, the four-time winner of the Indianapolis 500
right.
in 2021.
It's going to be a substantial time at this point because now that it's pouring, there's no point in me sticking around for longer until something gets going at Wilkesboro or until the ARCA East race at Flat Rock. So I'm going to step off for now. Thanks to whoever did show up. But until we get some dry land somewhere, BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good one.